Welcome to Nadia Create. I'm your host Nadia, and thank you so much for joining me this week. This time around, I wanted to share a few tips on how not to spend money to save your patio garden. In the previous episode on this channel, I shared how I got my patio garden started for 2017. And this time around, I want to share ways that you can utilize the products that you already have in your household that would normally end up in the garbage, the compost heap, the recycling bin, and use those to start your patio garden. And before we get to the rest of the video, I'm going to ask that if you enjoyed what you saw, of course, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and click that notification bell so you know when I upload new videos. And if you do like this video or you think that somebody else may like it, I would love it if you would share it on your various social media. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them in the comment section below. And of course, any tips that can help. I'm sure there are plenty more tips, but I just wanted to keep this video kind of short. So let's get started, and I will go through a few items of ways that you can not spend money to start your garden this year. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was trays. And of course, you can spend money on these, but if you don't want to spend money, we all have those storage boxes, and we always have those lids, but either the storage bin breaks or the lid breaks. If you have a shallow storage box, you can of course use that bottom to hold, or use the top of a lid from a storage bin, and that can replicate this. So it's already purchased, money is already spent, you're not having to go out and spend more money again. That is one way. The other way to save money is shoebox lids. If you have a shoebox lid that's pretty narrow and big enough to fit in a windowsill, you can get some shoeboxes that are a little narrower. Again, perfect way to do the same thing. And at the end of the season, if it gets waterlogged, you can just toss it in the recycling. The next way that I like to save money is these containers that I put my seedlings in. Instead of doing that, if you buy eggs, and this is, I think, most people know about this one, but save your egg containers. I prefer to use the paper ones, not the styrofoam or plastic ones. Fill the dirt in each one. You can just take the lid off and the flap. And some people actually keep it closed and cut holes in it if you want it a little deeper. But if not, just fill it with the dirt and drop your seeds in and put it on your makeshift tray. So that's another way to, instead of using these containers, use your egg cartons. And also another way too, some people, instead of, if they want something a little deeper than this, save your toilet paper rolls and say something like this. Fill it with dirt, line them up, place the dirt inside so it's a little deeper, and then you can just peel back when the seedlings are ready to transplant into the ground or into a pot. You just open them up and put your seedling into the ground or into a pot. Save your food containers, yogurt containers. This is a cream cheese container. As you can see, I used it for chicken stock before. Just make sure to clean them and wash them out really well. Again, fill them with dirt. Plant your seeds. You can also poke a few tiny holes in there so they have a little drainage. So that's another way. And the tip that I really love the most is when it comes to food scraps. Now, seeds in general are not too expensive. I don't think I found any seeds that are over $4. You can get them at any discount store, Walmart, Target, online. There's so many options, but if you don't want to do seeds, there are a few methods that I wanted to talk about. One, if you're lucky enough to have some friends or family who you can get some seeds from the previous year, that's awesome. Or like I spoke about in the previous video, I actually saw some beautiful flowers that I liked, and I didn't pick them off the flowers. I waited till they dropped on the ground, and then I picked up the blossoms with the seeds and let them dry out. And that's actually what I'm going to plant in the next week or two. So that's one way to not spend money on some of your, if you find a favorite flower that you really like. Food scraps. Don't throw out the root part of the onion. Just cut that off, and you can actually plant it in the dirt. And I'll leave some links about how to do some of these things. So don't throw out your onions. And again, you can just use something like this, fill it with dirt, and pop your onion deep to get it started before you transplant it into a bigger pot. And green onions. If you don't know, I love green onions and chives. And I don't think I bought green onions to plant before. I always just take this top, fill a container with water to get it started, leave it, literally cut off about that much and let it start sprouting out. And when it gets going well, then I transplant it into dirt. And I'll actually show you what I did. I actually have brought it from outside. And this is what was left outside from last year, already growing back. These are the green onions. I have to clean that up a bit, but those are the green onions that, and they are coming back this year. And these are chives. These are chives, and these are some more chives. I'm going to replant, clean this up, top it up with some new soil, and use the tops of these green onions and plant them beside my chives like I did last year. And I got quite a bit of chives, so I'm going to actually try and insert the picture of what last year's chives look like. But even with the cold and freezing temperatures, you can see here that they survived, the chives survived, and they are growing back very well this year. So I probably, even though I did plant some chives, I may or may not need them because they are growing back. These always come back. And the other is herbs, but this is the English thyme that I had last year and rosemary. These you generally come back. Of course, I'm gonna top up with some fresh topsoil, but clean it up and top it up with some topsoil. But a lot of these herbs do continue to come back every year. Or also, if you don't want to do that, same thing. If you go to the supermarket, you can get a nice piece of thyme or rosemary, whatever herb that you like, and start it in water. Start the rooting process. Once you see the roots growing, then you can go ahead and plant them. I generally have pretty decent luck with growing some of these hardier ones that are okay with a little bit of cold. They may die off, but they always come back for the most part. Okay, so those are a few tips that I have that I wanted to share, and I hope that you found them useful. If you have any more tips, I would love it if you drop it below. I just wanted to, like I said, keep this video relatively short and just share a few tips that I have used. And yeah, I hope you got something from it, and I will see you next time, hopefully with a good start to my patio garden, or maybe some more tips. If you have any questions, or if you have any suggestions, if you'd like me to do a video or talk about something, I can do that. So please drop those suggestions in the comment section as well. That is it, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Your time is very much appreciated, and see you next time. Bye.